Welcome everybody to Plumbing with Tim. Today we're on location here at my new house. So in this episode of Plumbing with Tim, I'm going to take a few minutes and I'm going to show you how easy it is to work and operate and know the parts when it comes to the newer style Glacier Bay two-handle toilets. So let's head inside and take a look. Alright, so here we have it. This is the Glacier Bay 2-button, one-piece elongated toilet. Now, these were in the house when I bought them. They are new. There's one in here and one as well. It is in my wife's bathroom. And they're very elegant looking. They're comfortable and stuff like that. But I'm not a big fan of them, as you heard me talk in other videos before, because they do not flush a whole lot of water. Now, like I said, thousands and thousands upon thousands of people out everywhere have these toilets. And I remember growing up as a kid, we never had toilets like this. And you plumbers that are out there, I'm sure a lot of you guys are like, this is easy, I don't need to watch this video. But some of you homeowners out there that want to work on these, or even some of you newer plumbers that maybe haven't had an opportunity to work on these particular toilets, this is a great video just to take a couple minutes and let me freshen it up with you and show you how you can actually work on this particular toilet, the main issue that usually happens with these, without having to use any kind of tools. So let's go ahead and open up the tank. Just like every toilet tank lid, there's probably condensation water. So just make sure you go ahead and shake that out there and take, as you can see it right there, the bottom section underneath the lid, as well as the top. You see it, just like all of them that are like that. Got one water droplet and it's got two water droplets. And I'm going to explain to you the difference of why they put that in there. We're going to set this thing aside over here on the floor, and then we're going to go down below and we're going to turn the water off to the toilet, and we're going to take this thing apart and I'm going to show you how it works and how you can do maintenance on here without any problems. Okay, so I should have done this in the first place. Let's go ahead and put the tank lid back on here real fast so we can flush this toilet tank back out and we can get rid of the water. I'm going to hit the one button on here that's got the two water droplets. I'm going to let off it. I'm going to take and remove the tank lid and set it over here safely. So you already saw me take and turn the water off, flush the toilet out as much as I can, and remove the tank lid and stuff. This is what you're working with inside of this tank. There is still some water that's down in here. Remember, this is a one-piece toilet. We have the old classic Fluid Master fill valve, as well as the fill tube, but this whole thing right here and the fill tube is all one piece. Not really. There's many pieces in here, but when it's put in as a unit. And I want to show you the part that goes bad the most and how you yourself, with no tools, can go ahead and replace it. In a standard toilet, this would be called the flush valve. And then you have the fill valve. Well, on this particular deal here, you have the two buttons. So on the top of the lid, when you press the number 2, it pushes this button down. Number 1 pushes that button down. Where is the flapper on this thing? Take a look. All right, this particular apparatus right here is what's called a drop canister valve. It's all part of the flush valve, but this is the drop canister. I have no tools in my hands. You can see that. This is what really is the apparatus that allows this thing to flush. It takes over the whole concept of a flapper. With my hand, I'm going to take the top area and I'm going to turn this counterclockwise until I can't turn it no longer. Have a look. Now we're just going to simply pick the thing straight up like that. And I'm going to sit this in the sink and I'm going to explain to you how this works. Here on the drop canister, okay, I have this turned around. Now let's imagine this was back in the tank still. All right, and you have your lid on and everything. This would be the 2 water droplet button and the single water droplet lit button. Let's take and see what happens. I'm going to press the one water drop button right there. Now watch this canister. It goes up almost all the way. There's still a little bit of a gap in there, you can see. The double pushes all the way up. So the difference in the two is when you press the number one, it's not flushing every bit of water out of the tank. You push the number two, it's flushing as much as you can possibly get out of the tank. So that's the difference between the two buttons. Now if you're a plumber or you're a homeowner and stuff like that, you may end up owning a toilet such as a Kohler. I think there might be another brand or two that's out there that kind of has a little bit of the same concept. Glacier Bay kind of changed it up a little bit for patent reasons, but you know, just like any good idea or what seems to be a good idea, a lot of other companies will jump on that idea and twist it just a little bit so they don't get copyright infringements and stuff. And that's what I think and believe that Glacier Bay did in this particular case with the drop canister like that. But in this case, with this drop canister and stuff, your flapper, this is what's almost identical to the Kohler toilet, is right here. Get that water off there. This disc, it's a rubber disc. This is what goes up and then it drops down and seals, and that's what keeps the water in the tank. So when you push the button, it allows the water to go down into the bowl and flush your toilet, and the water goes down, it follows itself down, and it drops. That's why we call it a drop canister. This little piece right here comes off. See that? After a while, with water quality and stuff like that, and just resilience of it sitting in the water, this thing will start to curl, which will start allowing water to escape and making your toilet run. These are replaceable. You notice I have had no tools whatsoever. Very simple. We're going to take it. There's a ring in here. See that? And I'm just going to take and simply stuff it back around here. This is kind of difficult to do because I'm in an awkward position standing here on the toilet. See that? I put it right back on there. Every one of these parts, these drop canisters, as well as this ring, can be bought either at Home Depot or Lowe's. Whoever sells Glacier Bay, that's where you're going to find it. And eventually, if plumbing companies are keeping up with the times and stuff, you'll be able to go down to a local plumbing supply and pick up parts like that, or you can order them online and stuff. And most of these have model numbers and stuff like that, where you can specify what kind of toilet it is, and they'll go ahead and send you parts out to it. And as you saw, outside of me having to maybe replace you know, the fluid master and use maybe a wrench or something, those parts in there can do hands-on, no tools involved. That's pretty cool. Let's take a look at what the difference of amount of water between the number one and number two. Number one droplet. Not a lot of water. Like you heard me say before, if you live in an old house, it's got cast iron pipe, drain pipes, that's not going to get the business out and down the road. I don't even believe the number two water droplet would do that. You need to have stronger flushing toilets with more volume. Now let's try the number two button. A little bit better, but like I said, an old house, these are not the type of toilets that you want in a pre-1970 house, unless you've had a renovation done and the cast iron pipes are gone and now you have the PVC pipes. Still, if you're a homeowner, it's reasonably priced. It's not a bad toilet as long as you have newer, decent plumbing in the home and it doesn't require 2 gallons of water to flush it and stuff. I still don't recommend them, but all the thousands and thousands of these toilets have been manufactured and put out on the market and people have in their homes. Now this is how you can work on it without having to pay that big service call to a plumber. You can run down to your local Home Depot or Lowe's, pick up the parts and do it yourself without any tools. that's all the time we have for today. I appreciate the heck out of each and every one of you guys coming over and watching this. Hopefully you guys learned something. If I missed something or left something out, please let me know. Not a really big fan of those 2-button flush toilets. This is what I bought a house that had them in there, and I'm going to eventually put some decent flushing toilets in there that I like. But in the meantime, before I did that, I wanted to take a couple minutes and do a little video, a little tutorial to show you as a homeowner how you can do maintenance on these toilets, how easy it is, no brainer. If you miss something, rewind this, go back, watch it again, and remember you can pick all these parts up, Home Depot and Lowe's. Thank you so much. Until next time, this has been Plumbing with Tim. Keep plumbing.